You're welcome back to Dateline Abuja. I still have with me Ambassador Samantha Power, a member of President Obama's cabinet in the United States. You're welcome back to the program.
Great to be here.
Now, the search for the Chibok girls is still on 2 years after. What do you think Nigeria should be doing at the moment? Any support coming from the United States to that regard?
Well, we've built together slowly, and I know too slowly for many, but a multinational joint task force. In order to build that, and what that is Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon, Benin, Niger, all together teaming up, because this is a regional problem. You know, when Boko Haram strikes in Nigeria and then can run into a neighboring country to hide, that's not going to work for anybody. When they're based in Nigeria and they go and they kill a bunch of Cameroonians, that's a catastrophe as well. So this regional task force is really important. I think President Buhari's administration has showed a heightened will to confront this threat, and it's a threat impossible to confront without Nigeria because, of course, that's where the bulk of its presence has been. So this multinational joint task force allows for better coordination. We have, from the beginning of this crisis, been providing as much information as we have and intelligence to Nigeria, our partner and our friend. I think now what we have, because we have this platform that is the task force, we have a means of getting that information quickly to each of the stakeholders in the region. So I think every day that the Chibok girls are gone from their families and living under these horrific terrorists is a bad day. And we feel a tremendous sense of urgency, as I know the Nigerian people do. We also are very aware that the Chibok girls rightly have drawn global attention, and also that there are thousands of other boys and girls who are in the custody of Boko Haram who we also must retrieve and return to their families. So this cause is extremely important to us, and we will not rest until we have pursued every lead and done everything we can to reunite families with their missing.
How can Nigeria sustain the success so far achieved in the Northeast?
I think conceptually everybody understands that this has to be multi-sectoral security, including a security approach that respects human rights or that has accountability when human rights are violated, so that the local populace stays on the side of the military. It's really important. Economic development, livelihood, opportunity, and then political inclusion, so that people in these areas feel as if their government represents them. And these are three legs of the stool. If any one of these legs is short or missing, the stool can topple over. And we learned that the hard way. And we are now, it is actually often our military, our uniformed officers who are our commanders in these difficult anti-terrorist operations, who are the biggest champions of human rights and the biggest champions of political reform and inclusion, because all the efforts have to run in parallel, or then you take a town away from the bad guys and you have no ability to hold it or to begin to build in it, because the root causes, you know, that helped enable the rise of these groups remain untended to. So I think that's the biggest lesson. But again, it feels like it's embraced conceptually, but it's hard when everybody is struggling for resources to deal with a humanitarian emergency, struggling to make sure that the military operations are well coordinated, to have the discipline to pay equal attention to political inclusion and equal attention to economic livelihoods and agriculture and these things. You know, you've got to make yourself do all of these things at once.
You mentioned security that is cognizant of human rights of the citizens, and that brings to mind the issues of human rights abuses and complaints made to that effect against the Nigerian military. Mm-hmm. What's your reaction to that? How are they expected to carry out these operations with that in mind, human rights of citizens?
Well, let me say that we have again struggled in different phases in our counterterrorism operations. There have been periods where U.S. forces have been implicated in torture, and the key when those allegations surface is that one moves very swiftly to investigate them, and to hold accountable those individuals of the military who might be implicated in those abuses. The reason that's so important is not just because abuses are bad and security services, we want them to obey international law. Of course, that's true. But by pulling out those individuals who are involved in abuses, you then preserve the legitimacy of the institution as a whole. And by contrast, when abuses happen and they keep happening and the local population sees that nothing's being done, local population here understands the threat that Boko Haram poses. But if people who aren't Boko Haram suddenly get arrested, if they are tortured, if you're aiming for Boko Haram but a lot of civilians end up getting killed, if there's not a sense that those allegations or those alleged events are taken seriously, then the population may say, well, why should I help you? Maybe I'll help Boko Haram. I don't like Boko Haram, but I lost my cousin, or I lost my spouse, or I lost my home. So again, these are very difficult, complex environments, and all of us who are involved in this collective effort, us in a support role, are learning as we go, and it's extremely challenging because over time you do lose the population that you need as your partner. And so for reasons of operational effectiveness, if nothing else, one has to integrate a kind of human rights doctrine and an accountability approach. And we've been in discussions with the Nigerian military since President Buhari took over. The Army now has human rights desks in various places. There are investigations that are underway, and our message is always just take these credible allegations seriously. You will actually go a long way to elevating the reputation of the military rather than soiling it, as long as that accountability structure exists.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your mails. Do keep your views and comments coming using the address and Twitter handle on your screen. You can also let us know anything happening within your area, especially if you are in the nation's capital. Don't forget, you can view the program on youtube.com/channelsweb/videos. You may make your comments after viewing the videos. Always remember to include your name and where you're writing us from. I am Omelogo Nadi. I'll see you next time.